All right, Agency Elephant user, welcome to the back-end video of your sales pipeline, showing you the automations that are tied to this account on your sales pipeline. I'm going to walk you through each strip, and I'm going to walk you through the back end of the pipeline itself and show you how this is an automated sales pipeline, not just a workflow pipeline, not to just see what's going on and know what's going on in your system. This is actually an automated pipeline, okay? So to get to the back end of your sales pipeline, you're going to come over to the settings option over here, and you're actually going to click into the pipeline over here, okay? This is your pipeline. This controls the this controls how it's viewed. This controls what pipeline it is. And over here to the far right, you'll notice an actions button. Underneath the move automation configuration button is where you'll see all of the automations that take place on your pipeline, okay? This is the back end of your pipeline. This is the most involved way to do automations on a pipeline, and there's a specific reason for it, okay? So if somebody sits, and let me get out of this so I can show you exactly how this works, okay? If somebody sits in this lead status, if you have people that are sitting in this lead status, okay? If they sit here, and let me show you how this works, okay? On update move and on expiry move. These are important. The on update moves means that as you're dragging people into the pipeline on update and move, that's the same thing here, on update and move, do this, right? Now you'll notice, and this is actually not the built for you pipeline here, so let me change all this and I will show you what this looks like. This is our clone account, so we play with it all the time. So let me show you what this is supposed to look like. This is how your account is going to look, okay? Onboarding, let's get rid of this. Nothing's happening. This is now a prospect, okay? This is your automated sales pipeline you will see in your Agency Elephant. On update move. That means when you drag somebody over to prospects, you're going to move them where? Nowhere. They're going to stay as how they were in your account. Nothing's going to change. Same thing with lead. Nothing changed when they get added into that bucket. But if they sit in those two buckets for more than 30 days, it is going to trigger two campaigns that are slightly different, but fairly similar to each other. It's going to trigger two different campaigns, okay? We go back to pipeline over here. If a person sits in this status here, leads, they sit in lead for 30 days, it is going to automatically move that person to a lead not quoted drip. This lead not quoted drip is supposed to reprospect that user 5.5 months later. So if they sit in this bucket and you don't move them out of this bucket lead, nothing's going to happen initially, but after 30 days, they're going to move into these new groups, and the total time frame is 5.5 months to reprospect them. Basically saying, hey, reach out, or, you're in our system or whatever, and we never touch base with you. How do we get this in front of you? The prospect pipeline is the same. If they sit in here for 30 days, they're going to get hit with a prospect not quoted campaign, which is almost identical to the lead not quoted campaign. The only difference is it's going to say, hey, we talked about this, but we never wrapped this up. How do we get this in front of you? Those are those two buckets, okay? Now, next, what you're going to notice is, and let me go back over to our pipeline. So I accidentally just deleted it or closed out the page. So under our pipeline here, back under the move automation configuration, this is the back end of your sales pipeline. If you drag somebody into the proposal status, right? I'm over here, I drag them to proposal and I hit update and move. When I drag them into the proposal status, they're going to immediately go into two new groups, prospects and quote follow-up. The quote follow-up drip actually doesn't start until the day after they were added into that bucket, into that pipeline. The reason why is I don't want to send an automated text out to them immediately when they go in there, because they know you sent the quote out because you emailed them. I don't know how the call went. I don't know where you're at in the sales process. I don't know if they're expecting to close today. So I don't want to send anything out today. I want to hit them tomorrow. If they haven't closed tomorrow, I want to hit them tomorrow and ask if they've reviewed it. Okay. Very simple quote follow-up practice. The next thing that's going to happen is if they sit here for 30 days, they're going to go into a quotes not closed campaign. The quotes not closed campaign is very simple. Hey, we didn't end up closing your quote, What happened? How do we get it in front of you? Did you give up on this? Like, it has a few different drips in here that basically at the 30-day mark, day 31, when they're added into there, they get this drip for a few days, trying to last ditch effort close the account because you didn't close it, right? That's the back end of the sales pipeline. When you drag somebody in the sales column, and I'm over here, I drag them in the sales column, this is going to trigger my onboarding campaign. Ask for reviews, ask for referrals, let them know the other products we sell and offer, etc. If they don't sell the product, it's just going to change them back to prospects because I don't want them to continue. If you're doing a quote follow-up and they say no, I'm going to put them to no sale, so it stops that campaign. Okay, that's the back end of the sales pipeline. It's pretty straightforward. These groups are what trigger campaigns. So if you want to see what those campaigns are, simply have two screens open. That's what I recommend, and just say, hey, this group is quote follow-up, BFY. Well, what drip over here is quote follow-up? I'm going to type in the search field. Here's the quote follow-up, right? This is something that we did in the clone account that's not active. So I'm going to delete this out here. The quote follow-up one for you is located down here. We do a ton of training stuff in this account, which is why it is here like that. So that is your sales pipeline, your automated sales pipeline. The settings behind it. If you look up in your Launchpad, there should be another one that talks about service workflows and pipelines. We're going to have a ton of videos in there showing you how to build out a service workflow. Reason why it's not included in your account is everybody's service at their agency looks a little bit different on what they call things and how they use it. So we walk you through how to build it on your own. All right, hope that helps. And you guys have a great afternoon.